How you doing, rock star?
There is nothing like adrenaline in the morning.
Sometimes I live for that, and other times it's like, go away.
Oh, I woke up 5 minutes ago, and I'm on air on television in like 25 minutes, and I'm like, okay, let's see how this is going to happen.
Oh, my God. What was a late night for you?
Not even. I don't know. I just didn't, the regular thing. Hit snooze a couple times, and I don't know what was going on. And suddenly I'm like, wow, I'm not calling Arrow on time, if at all. And then I was like, okay, here I am in the car. I'm running. I've got 12 minutes to get to the station. So crazy.
So right now you don't feel like Buzz Lightyear?
Well, I mean, if you want to, let's want to do it. Want to chat a little bit. I mean, I'm driving, but we can just kind of
absolutely, yeah. Just have a conversation.
Okay.
I've seen it twice. It was one of those movies where, is it okay to say this is not the Buzz Lightyear you grew up with?
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole other character in a way. And what I like about it is that we are potentially at the precipice of Disney Pixar launching the Toy Story cinematic universe. Because now that one of the characters has his own standalone movie, any of the characters could have standalone movies, and they could have crossovers and all the rest of it. Now, who knows?
That would be pretty cool to see, like a Woody movie, I mean, just to find out what his entire, storyline is all about, and how, what happened before he got into Andy's life.
I mean, I can't imagine that they haven't discussed all of that. So if this doesn't do well, that would be the only way that we wouldn't get, I think, a Woody movie.
Now, is it a kids movie? Because I've asked myself that question over and over again.
It's really interesting. It's the first time I was thinking the same thing while I was watching it. I was like, this is not talking down to kids. It feels like a regular, full-on, fully formed adult film that just happens to be animated. And I think Disney's been doing that a little bit all along. Maybe they were catering to kids a little bit more throughout, but this one doesn't seem to cater to kids at all. It really is just a great animated action-adventure with real story.
Oh, my God. And it's got so much surprise in it, unexpectedness, twists, turns, like you would never believe.
Right, and I loved some of the characters so much. First of all, there's a lot of influence, I thought, of The Wizard of Oz, Star Wars. You're seeing four main characters with a droid or an animal, Toto or R2-D2 in this case. Mm-hmm. I love Socks the cat. Socks the cat is like, if they make an animatronic one for sale around Christmas time, I might break down and buy one.
I gotta have one, because you're absolutely right. Meow, 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 meow. All of it. I mean, I cared more, as is often the case with film. You care more about the animals than the people, but I just liked, and it was that whole notion of a main character with three supporting characters on a journey to get home, which is very, very Wizard of Oz. Yep.
And so I loved all of those things, but also, there's been so much discussion, sort of politically, which I don't do, but here it actually has to do with the company and the film, about whether or not Disney would ever have a fully formed gay character, and this went one step further.
How about
gay character, a gay family, intergenerational family, and a gay kiss.
That's right.
I was like, my jaw was left on the floor, and it was like happy jaw on the floor. It was like, so I was very, very proud of, as a member of that alphabet community, I was happy to see that. So now everybody can stop wondering if it's ever going to happen, and we can go back to business as usual,
Absolutely. Now, what is Anbandoned, and where can you find that?
This is in theaters. It's a horror film, but not that scary. And you know me long enough now to know that I want my horror films to scare me. And this one's very tepid, partly because it's PG-13. It stars Emma Roberts, and it stars John Gallagher Jr. I like them both very much, and they play a couple with a newborn who are moving into a country house, leaving the city, moving into a country house that's kind of out in the nowhere. Mm-hmm. So, of course, the house is haunted.
Ooh.
But it's not scary. I mean, like the hauntings that go on, like the actual sounds that they use that are haunting, I think are kind of silly, and so that didn't scare me. It has a good ending, which I enjoyed, but the rest of the movie was just kind of like, meh. So I'd say wait till Anbandoned's available to stream at some point and get streamed out if you're interested.
Oh, wow.
But I did interview Emma Roberts and John Gallagher Jr., and we'll have that interview up on my website later today.
So now, are they down-to-earth people? Very,
Really?
very. I really liked it. The first Emma, I was sitting in my Wizard of Oz office, and Emma, before we started, was like, "I love your room." I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Just thanks.
Yeah. Oh, I had no time to say anything more or less. I took time away from my actual interview. I had like 4 minutes to talk to the pair of them,
Oh, how do you deal with that when you're given a time limit like that, or they call in and they go, I know you're supposed to have them for 10 minutes, but you can only have them for 3.
I hate it. I can't. It's a panic. It's talk about like anxiety and the rest of it. That's the worst. It's rude.
Yeah. So Cha-Cha Real Smooth, is this a comedy?
This is a feel-good comedy. Arrow, this is a movie that is so out of the blue. It's wonderful. Basically, it's on Apple TV Plus today, but streaming, but also in theaters today. Mm-hmm. I'm saying see it in theaters because it's basically following the same trajectory that Apple TV Plus did with Coda, which won Best Picture this year. And Cha-Cha Real Smooth is already getting Oscar buzz. It's written by, directed by, and starring this 25-year-old guy named Connor Cooper. My goodness, I'm not looking at notes right now. Cooper Rave. I didn't know who he was. He is one to watch. He's like the next guy. I mean, at such a young age to have done what he's done, to make this movie. This is only his second film, and he's already in pre-production on a TV series that he's writing and starring in another movie and the rest of it. He is like a little movie-making prodigy and such a talented actor, too. And this film is such a gem of a film. It's also co-starring and produced by Dakota Johnson.
Oh, really?
And he Cooper basically plays a guy who just graduated from college and is kind of aimless, but he's a really carefree, happy guy. He's living at home with his mom, his stepdad, and their son, so his half brother, and he's just kind of guiding his son. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He becomes this like party starting guy for bar mitzvahs and has chemistry with this single mom and her daughter who's autistic, and it's kind of like the feel-good movie of the year. Like, I understand where the Oscar buzz is coming already for a potential Best Picture type of film. It is a glorious movie. I laughed, I cried, it hits you right in the chest and grabs you at the throat, and it just was awesome. I loved Cha-Cha Real Smooth. It's that little unexpected out of nowhere movie that's wonderful.
Now, what was it about it that made you pretty much be convinced that this has to be seen on the screen?
Good question. So basically, for a lot of movies that are great and have great casts and the rest of it, and you walk away kind of feeling like, it was okay. I could have watched that at home.
Okay.
This is something that is so well written, and this movie is so well performed that right away, even before you really know what's going on or you know anything about these characters, you already find yourself caring about them.
Okay.
And that's because the writing and performances are strong, number one. Number two, it's because you just it hits all those beats. And it is cinematic in a way. There are things that happen in the story that are just lifetime that you can relate to, where it's like they're worthy of a cinematic depiction, and I just loved it and I felt it. You really feel this is a movie that makes you feel. And just like Nicole Kidman once astutely said, somehow heartbreak seems good in a place like this.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Yep.
She was talking about this kind of movie. So
the wise prophet Nicole Kidman.
Yes, the goddess, Nicole Kidman.
So
are you allowed to pray to people who are still living? Because sometimes I pray and light a candle for Nicole Kidman.
Right? Oh, I mean, seriously, she's got that energy about her. It's like we are walking with a saint sometimes. I mean, I'll see her and it just consumes me.
It's so true. I'm just approaching the station, so I have to run. But Arrow, thank you so much for making time for me today.
All right, man. Well, you be brilliant. You be safe and go in there and have a good show, all right?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.